Good morning, my name is Eric Romo. I am the DS21 tutor at Fresno City College, and today we will be talking about mathematics of finance, specifically simple interests and discounts. Now, one thing that I want to get out of the way first is that with simple interest, it's between the period of 0 to 1 years usually, and a compound interest is 1 plus years. And a lot of people tend to get these confused because, well, really, what's going on? What's the real differences here? Besides the equations that we're looking at, and well, the one thing that you always want to look for is that in compounded equations or word problems, they will always say compounded for some period of time. Now they can say annual, which is equal to 1 year, so once in a whole year. Okay, I have a timeline. This is 0, 1 year. And I can have semi-annual, which is 2 periods in a year, 6 months. So I have 1 period from 6 months and another period at 1 year. That's where the semi-annual comes in. And then I have quarterly, which is 4 periods. So all I'm doing with this compounding periods is that I'm breaking up the years into periods. So quarterly is 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Alright, guys. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And finally, I have monthly, 12, which is 12 points in the year, and daily, 365. So, how do I really use these equations? Well, let's go ahead and rewrite this. I'm going to say that our simple interest equation, I is equal to PRT. So I have my interest, my principal, and my time period. Now, you probably noticed before I got over here that on the previous paper that I said that time period must always be measured in terms of a year. Now, that's very important because if you don't do that, your finance equations will be calculated incorrectly. So, when I get something in simple interest, because that's between 0 to 1 years, and I say I have a time period of 362 days, I cannot just plug this in to my equation. I must convert it into a year. So, for days, how many days are there in a year? There's 365. If I put this into my calculators, I'm going to get a number 362 divided by 365. I get 0.9917 rounded. But it's important that in this section you do not ever round any of your numbers until the very end. And that's very important in finance because that's the difference between $500 and $5,000. Okay? Now, let's say I had a principal amount, okay, of say $5,000. And I had an interest rate of 6%. Well, I can't just plug in 6%. I need to convert that to a decimal. So I'm going to divide this by 100 in order to get a decimal back, and I get 0.06. So, given this information, I'm going to plug it into the equation. I is equal to 5,000 times time period, or rate, actually, 0.06 times time period, which is 362 over 365. What I recommend doing is that whenever you have a fraction like this inside of your finance equations, always do the fractions first and then start multiplying your other numbers. It's a little bit easier that way. So, going back to my calculator, I already calculated out 362 divided by 365. Therefore, I can multiply now 0.06 and multiply 5,000. So my interest calculated on this loan is 297.53 rounded. Usually in your problems they'll want it to the nearest cent. The next video we'll talk about discounting.